Hello trade pros. In today's video, we're going to talk about a topic that leaves a lot of new traders with disastrous results. We're going to talk about what causes emotional trading and how to fix it and finally turn it around. Really, at the end of the day, it's all about having discipline. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you what's causing your discipline to break down and get emotional in your trading and how to correct those actions with simple fixes and exercises. So let's dive right into this video. Before we begin, please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel and hit the notifications bell for more awesome content. So let's dive into the topic today. There's only really 3 reasons that you get emotional in your trading, and all the other ones are subsets of those 3 reasons. All right, reason number 1, you're likely undercapitalized in your trading account, or you're trading money with which you're supposed to be doing something else, like paying your bills, your college, whatever it might be. You took a massive loan from your bank and hoping it works out. This is reason number 1, and it's extremely dangerous because you're going against your subconscious mind's programming to achieve safety for you. You might have the best strategy in the world with the biggest edge, and it's not going to succeed if you're trading from a lack mindset or you're trading money that you shouldn't be, that you rely on for your survival. That one's easy, simple, and easy to grasp and understand. All right, reason number 2 you get emotional trading, and we all do as traders, is that we're really trained and disciplined to have risk aversion. And what that means is we're afraid of getting into losing situations. We're afraid when things go bad, that's when we start to think, question, and doubt ourselves the most. Now, this is also a money mindset issue and really an important part of your upbringing. If you've been taught to avoid risk all of your life, the moment that your trade goes negative, now you're working with a part of your brain, your emotions, your beliefs, your identities, your values that you haven't really worked with often and you've been taught to suppress. Once you trigger that, your lizard brain or your fight or flight response comes on, and the biggest and best solution at that point is for you to lose all the money you have in your account, because then you get back to safety because you can't trade anymore. So this is a really, really big one, is if you have a strong risk aversion from a past experience or your life, that's going to trigger a lot of emotional trading every single time with really bad results. And last but not least, and this is one that not many people will tell you, but what's causing your trading emotion and for you to get emotional in your day-to-day activity is actually the fear of success. Am I nuts? Is it actually possible to be afraid of being successful? Well, the answer is yes. Remember this, success itself is also a field of uncertainty. If you haven't hit the success that you're hoping for yet, especially in trading, when you do get in trades, you're still dealing within the realm of uncertainty. Now, this one is really deep because it's easy to talk about fear of losing money, but fear of being successful. How does that manifest in your trading? Well, you start to have doubt. When a trade is going well, you'll manage to really move the stop to break even, and you continue to think of the loss aspect. Why am I doing this? I should be in school. I should have listened to my mom. There's many different reasons that you could really be sitting here and doubting yourself while you're at the trading desk. But fear of success is huge. And you have to take a moment to ask yourself, is this the reason for emotional trading? Because once you become successful, you also become responsible. You become responsible for your results. You become responsible with dealing some of the challenges that success in itself brings. And if you're not used to that, you're not used to uncertainty, you're not really going to achieve it with your trading as well. This is all mindset work, all 3 of these things. So now that we know what 3 things cause emotional trading, let's dive into how to fix them. And I have 6 tips for you to really take what you're at, take your emotional trading, and turn it all around. So let's start out with number 1. And that first one is super easy, and I'm going to spend the least time on it. Have a trading strategy with an edge. If you don't know what you're going to be doing, how will you do it once the time is right? All right? If you don't have a strategy, you don't know when to trade, and unfortunately, you end up trading when you shouldn't. Have a plan and follow it. That's the key. If you don't have one, you don't even really need to listen to the rest of this video. Start there. All right? Tip number 2 for how to reduce emotional trading is find your trigger. Oftentimes, I'm baffled when traders continue to repeat the same behaviors with the exact same result and really killing a lot of good money in the process. That doesn't have to happen. If it's only happened once, that's one times too many. And actually, it's going to happen once. But if it happens twice, 3 times, 4 times, that becomes something that you should address as quickly as possible. The more times you screw up, the more times you create a pattern out of screwing up, and the more likely it will be to occur next time you try. So if you've hit that inevitable, undoubtful period where you've emotionally traded, stop and assess. Here's what you need to do. Find your trigger. Go back to the last 5 worst days that you've had this entire year and break it down step by step. Not by what the market is doing, but by what you were doing. So that would look something like this. For example, if one of your last big losing trades, you had some profit, and then you made the decision to remove the stop loss, and instead of take $1,000 profit, go for $10,000, and then you hit your stop loss, but instead of hitting it, you moved it and you added more into your position, opening up a bigger hole, and then you took a massive loss in one day that was not planned for and not a part of your strategy. You need to ask yourself what happened in that moment. What made the decision for you to risk more than you should have? All right, what were you thinking? What were you hoping for? Why did you decide at the end of the day? You really can't avoid these moments. The best thing is to take them head on and go back to those 5 biggest losses and understand what made you decide to continue and really put a bigger hole in your account than you should have. I'm willing to bet there's a recurring theme in each one of the 5. And if you can find it, you know what your trigger is. Next time it happens, you just have to be aware enough to know it's happening, and it's easier to avoid. All right. Tip number 3, have a risk management strategy. This one's also very basic and simple. Set up a drawdown limit. How much are you willing to lose in your pursuit of trading profit on a daily basis? How much on a weekly basis? And how much on a monthly basis before you stop trading? Oftentimes, we're encouraged by society that when things are going wrong, we should be trying the hardest to get out of a hole. Really, if you're in a hole in trading, you've been doing enough digging, and your next trade is likely going to be some more digging to put in a deeper hole. You can't be trading out of I need to make it back mindset. You got to focus once again on your plan, on your strategy. Create a risk management strategy, write down the rules, stick them to your screen, and know how much is your maximum loss you're willing to deal with and accept on a daily basis, and stick to those limits. It's very dangerous if you don't, because you're writing habits, patterns, and behaviors to your subconscious mind every time you break your rules. Tip number 4, maybe it's time to implement a timeout after every losing trade or a speed bump. What do I mean by this? If you notice that after 2 losing trades, your trigger comes on and says, I got to get back my money, I'm going to start chasing the market, and you turn a small losing day into a big one, stop at 2. If all it takes is 1 losing trade to get you emotional, then stop trading. What you could implement is a timeout. Try to start with a 10-minute period. If my trade gets stopped out and I'm emotional and I can recognize this, logically, I'll step away for 10 minutes. Understand that means you might miss the next best trade, and that's okay, because you're not trying to get all the trades at the beginning. You're trying to avoid the bad ones that ruin new traders before they even start. So implement the timeout after your losing trade and implement a speed bump. Maybe if you lose your first trade, you're going to cut your contract size down to half for your second one until you get back to a state of positive mindset and a state that you can really profit from while you're trading. All right. Tip number 4. This is super important, and this is why our trading community is so great. So you need to have an accountability partner. When we trade, we do this alone in the basement locker room, and we tell no one. The problem with this is when we tell no one, it's easy to do things that you normally wouldn't in everyday life. All right. When you have a job, your friends ask you, how's your job going? All right. You perform a certain way at your job because you know your boss is going to review your results. The clients will get the end product, and your friends are going to ask about it. Trading should be the same, but don't just trust anyone to be your accountability partner. Find somebody who's trading like you, like your style, who has a similar approach, and share the trades with them. When you know somebody will be reviewing your work, you're going to be less likely to be emotional and more likely to come back even if you deviate a little bit, because you're going to have some explaining to do. Trading by yourself and telling no one about it is the absolute most dangerous thing you can do about it. Our trading community has a lot of like-minded individuals who help one another, And we even have an accountability channel in our community so people could do this exact same thing in real time on the mic with screen sharing and also sharing their trading fills and how they did for that day. So find an accountability partner and don't trade without one. And the last tip, and this is super important, is that you got to be your own boss. If you're going to trade for yourself for the rest of your career, no, it doesn't mean you don't have a boss. Everyone always has a boss. The hard part about trading is that that boss is you. Imagine leaving your job where you really don't like the person that you're working for, only to discover that you're worse as a boss. And I say that, it sounds funny. Some of you might chuckle. I was in that same situation. All right, being your own boss is the hardest thing to do. Be sure you review your trades, give yourself a grade, evaluate your performance on a quarterly basis and on a daily basis. Be judgmental, but focus on opportunity and always try to learn from yourself. And also remember this, look at your trading results at the end of every session, not like you did them, but go into a mindset where you're reviewing somebody else's work, because then the mistakes you made during the day are easier to catch. I hope you enjoyed these 6 tips. I know it was a lot of information, but if you take these things into account, you can prevent the 3 top reasons of why traders become emotional in their day trading, investing, and anything else. If you guys like this video, click the like button, hit the subscribe button as well, and be sure to tune in for some more great content coming up. If you have any comments or questions, put them down below and I'll answer them personally. Thank you for watching. Remember, manage that risk and trade like a trade pro. And let me know, did this help with your emotional trading? What are you planning to implement? And what was your big aha moment of this video? Look forward to chatting in the comments. Take care. Have a great day. Goodbye.